Good morning and welcome all. Thank you so much for joining us. I would like to wish everyone happy Onam. Over the next hour, we are going to discuss and work through the UAE e-invoicing mandate and actually what it asks from business and what's a realistic path to being live looks like. The reason why we are doing this right now is because businesses in phase one have to appoint an ASP by 30th of October, which is 9 weeks from today. And the issue, the exchange invoices electronically, goes live as of 1st January 2027. So there are just two housekeeping notes that I would like to share with each and every one of our participants. If you have any questions with regards to e-invoicing or anything, you can always feel free to ask those questions right directly in the chat. And we will have a 15-minute Q&A session during this webinar where our speakers will address all of the questions. With regards to the session, we will also have polls during the session in order to make the entire webinar a bit more interactive. So I would appreciate if all participants participate in the polls so that we can liven it up and make the webinar more interactive. For today, we have our esteemed speakers. We have Pravin Sawant. Um, Pravin is the VP of Business Development from Taxilla. Taxilla is a global player in RegTech, which is regulatory technology. Taxilla operates as an ASP that exchanges invoices over Peppol network. Pravin has over 2 decades of experience when it comes to regulatory technology and e-invoicing. We also have Mr. Manas Das, the managing director at Abacus. He is an Indian chartered accountant. Manas leads our ERP delivery across Sage, Microsoft Dynamics, and Zoho, and he will take us through e-invoicing and how it connects your system in which you already run. We also have Ronak Seth. He is the principal consultant at Abacus. He has over 7 years of experience with multiple ERP systems like Sage and Microsoft. Let's talk about the agenda. So, these are the points that we are going to cover today. We'll have a short introduction about Abacus IT Solutions and what we do. We will have Mr. Pravin take us over the UAE mandate for e-invoicing and the Peppol network, the updates, penalties, and everything to do with e-invoicing. Mr. Manas will then take us over how the ERP integration and our solution for e-invoicing actually works with your ERP. And then we will have a short demo that shows us how the system actually works. About Abacus. A short word of who we are because it shapes the advice you hear from the rest for the rest of the next hour. Abacus has been implementing and supporting business systems in UAE since 2003 out of Dubai and Sharjah. We support more than 700 customers today. One thing to be clear and upfront, we are not a service provider. We are an ERP, CRM, and business management consulting firm. And for e-invoicing, we work alongside Taxilla, who are our partners when it comes to e-invoicing. We also have offices in Dubai, Sharjah, Hyderabad, and we have processed over 500,000 invoices already when it comes to e-invoicing in KSA. Our partnerships and some of the platforms that we work with. So we are partners with Sage, Microsoft, Zoho, and when it comes to e-invoicing, we are also partnered with Taxilla. And for distribution, we have partnered with Redington. Software and implementation. ERP and finance, we cover Sage X3, Sage 300, Sage 200, Microsoft Dynamics 365, Business Central, and FNO, as well as Zoho Books. For CRM and operations, we also implement Dynamics 365 CRM, Zoho CRM, and Zoho FSM and projects. We also have solutions for HRMS, which includes Zoho People, Zoho HR and Payroll, and Zeta HCM. And mainly what we are also going to cover is the e-invoicing and our solution for UAE e-invoicing specifically. Our business portfolio. So we have a rich business portfolio which covers a lot of different sectors and industries. A few of the businesses we have worked in the past in government and sovereign linked entities, Emirates Palace in Abu Dhabi and Nama in Sharjah. In manufacturing, MNT, which is Muhadib National Tanks. In distribution, we have giants such as TTI, headquartered in Germany, the largest distributor and manufacturer behind Milwaukee and other machine tool brands. In project services, we have WJ Groundwater and London headquartered business in groundwater industry. And in other sectors, we have Toiba, the British University in Dubai, and Rack Properties. When it comes to e-invoicing, we already have experience in KSA. KSA e-invoicing customer stories that we would like to also uh, display in our portfolio. Some of the companies include such Ellisden, Film Master, GMS, Islam Commercial, Sunace, The Ames, and Chauvet and Cowan. Now, for the mandate and explaining e-invoice, I would like to hand over to Mr. Pravin. In the meantime, Mr. Pravin gets set up, I would also like to make this interaction a bit more engaging. So I would like everyone to participate in the poll. Over to you, Mr. Pravin.
Okay, so just to give you my background, hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So just to give you my background, last 20 years I'm into indirect tax, majorly focus on tax technology and global invoicing part. Currently, I'm managing 25 countries e-invoicing and a focus on GCC country because after Saudi, there is a UAE, Oman, Qatar, and Bahrain. So soon, in 2 to 3 years, all the GCC country will go for e-invoicing. To start with Taxilla. So Taxilla got e-invoicing accreditation in UAE. So when I say ASP certification from the Minister of Finance, we received. Uh, there are very few companies who receive this ASP certification from Minister of Finance. Once you complete the final testing with the C5 and TDD, Ministry of Finance is issuing the final certification for 2 years, and after 2 years you have to renew the ASP status. In terms of a Taxilla, we are a certified Peppol access point. We got a ISO 27001 and 9001 certified company. Also, we are a SOX 2 Type 2 compliant. This is the highest certification in a cloud solutions. It's a cloud-based solution, so we regularly do the VAPT test. This is the test related to the data security related things. Okay, now when we talk about the e-invoicing mandate, as Samir told, the selection of the ASP is changed from July to October. Okay, and if you look at the date, it's a 30th October 2026. So it's not a October end, it's a 30th October. Okay, the go live date is same, 1st January. There is no change. Even the second revenue less than a 50 million, there is no change, and also government entity. So only part is changed is a 50 million and above company. The selection of ASP has changed. In terms of document types, it's a B2B, B2G. B2C is on exempted, and Maybe after a year or two, they will decide how to transact on a B2C part. It may happen that, like a Oman, they will say that each and every B2C invoices need to be reported FTA with a QR code, or they may go with a Singapore or Malaysia model where they will say a consolidation of B2C invoices into one invoice. So we as a ASP, we recommend that you should be a part of the pilot project. Why? We will cover it in the next slides. Uh, Most of you knows about this data fields, which is a 50 field, 6 category, and the document type. Now, this is more important in terms of IT gap assessment or advisory part, where you should take care of your business and do the IT and advisory part so that you will come to know what are the changes you need to do and what are the uh, time required for you to do the implementation of e-invoicing. Okay, now why this particularly pilot project is important and why you should start early. See, typically, when we talk about the e-invoicing, everybody knows about the five corner model. They will say, okay, it's an electronic address. But before that, there are multiple things you need to do. The first part is informing your customer and vendor what is your status. Second, your master data cleanups. See, typically what happens because you are not under a e-invoicing, you are in a normal business, it might happen your master data is not clean up, like a customer address. I have seen that they have a post box number, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Like that, you have an address. There is no address one line, two line. So that you need to first verify. Similarly, the supplier side, third part is the item. So item masters related things you have already done or not. Now, after doing this master data cleanup, the second part is informing your customer and vendor and asking them their status. Because as you know that your vendor or your customer fall in phase one and phase two. So you don't know whom you can share the PDF copy, whom you are sending the e-invoicing. Similar case with the purchase side. So to avoid all the confusion, you should do this particularly exercise in things. Second, when you go to the pilot project, you are the company who are doing lot of testings. So testing because you have done the business without any controls. So what you are currently doing, just generating the tax invoice and issuing to the customer. Now there are three more people who observes your e-invoicing. First, C2, your ASP. He is the first block for you when I receive the data. Second, FTA. Third, buyer ASP. Now, this is the process change regarding the AR side, AP side. If you are a part of the pilot project, you have enough time to do the UAT. You can check all the things. Your team is trained so that when they go live, there will be a less error coming from the 2, 5, and 3, and your invoice generation time will be very less. Second, uh, financially and commercially also will get benefited because when you select the ASP, they have enough time to support you. They will give the very good price. But if you go to the last moment, chances that they have already pulled and they are not able to justify the support services to you. Okay. Now, when we talk about the uh, penalty part. So as you know that first selection of the ASP before 30th October is important. Second, it is not the penalty is only for the taxpayer. It is for the ASP also. Okay, so there are multiple penalties are there. I will explain you that. Now, most of the you are know about the five corner model because you have attended the many seminars and everything. I will not go in a detail. I will focus on a advanced part, what we as a company along with the Abacus we are offering. So first thing is, let's understand how to select the ASP, because that is the first part before 30th October you have to do. So selection of the ASP is like this. First, you have to log in to the MR tax portal. Okay. Once you log in, under your profile, you will see the e-invoicing. Then you will have one confirmation, one acceptance. Okay. Now you will see two tab, list of ASP for onboarding, linkage status with ASP. Okay. Then you will see the Taxilla name, ASP ID. When you select here, you will go to the proceed to ASP. Then one form will come. Now, what happened? It might happen that whatever information like a email address, mobile number, other informations which is already there in MR tax portal, that is correct, or maybe you need to modify like a email address. So maybe at a time of registration, your tax considered email address will be there, or your old employee email address is there. So first of all, you need to verify the details, or else what will happen when you enter something here, Taxila is going to verify this information what you entering into the MRR tax portal, and if it is not matching, they will give the error. Okay. Second, as you know that it's a tin wise registration number you have to do. So if you have a group of companies, a group VAT ID, under that you have a multiple legal entities. Okay. So multiple legal entities having the multiple TRN number. First 10 digit of TRN is a TIN number. So each TIN number you have to follow this process. Okay. Now once you entered this, first thing, under the linkage status with ASP, you will see your TIN number, your company name, ASP name, and the green dot with a link and a status date. So this date should be before 30th October. Okay, now if you have a multiple TIN number, it will be a next line item. Okay, now once you got this green color, your ASP selection process is done, and you will get a email also. Now here two things you will get. First, you will get a Peppol ID. This is created by Taxilla. So look at the first number 235. This is the electronic address of Peppol given to the UAE, and next 10 digit is the TIN number of your company. Okay. Second step, we are going to register your company on FTA, where they will provide you sandbox, that is a testing server and a live server. Okay. So this is how your ASP selection process will be happen, and this is very smooth process where you can uh, do this in one day itself, but provided your details should be updated in MRTX portal, and Abacus team is going to help you to onboard this process. Okay, now once you select the ASP, as you know that there are two part of the five corner model. One is the AR side. In the AR side, as you know, this complete flow. Here, one more thing I want to add. Along with the tax invoice, currently, if you are sharing some supporting document, for example, dispatch advice, some test certificate, some Excel sheet working, some image file you want to share with a customer. So today you are sending separately in an email, right? Or maybe sending the hard copy. Now, here there is a provision for you to share using this four corner model. So whatever I am explaining you, this is not a part of the five corner model. It means UAE is not telling you to share this thing, but as a functionality of the Peppol, Taxilla is providing this provision. So what will happen if you want to share some supporting document? You have to share it with the Taxilla. Taxilla will only share the tax invoice to the FTA and supporting document to the buyer ASP, and he will deliver to him. Okay, so this is the additional advantage. Second, if you are doing the export, now as you know that in export there will be a no corner three. So there are two type of country. First is a Peppol country. Second is a non-Peppol country. For example, India, Saudi Arabia, where they don't have a Peppol. So if you are doing the export to Saudi Arabia, it is directly corner 5 only, and then you are physically or soft copy you are sharing with the buyer. But consider if you are doing export to Peppol country like Oman or Singapore, what will happen? So if your customer is in Singapore, here I will first share the export invoice to FTA. Then I will find out your buyer ASP in Singapore using the Peppol global directory. Then I will convert the tax invoice because Singapore tax invoice format is print SG. That I will convert and I will deliver to the corner 3. Here also I can share some supporting document with them and he can deliver. So this is also a facility of the four corner model. Okay. Now similarly the AP side, as you know that AP side will be the real time things. So initially what happened, your vendor are coming under a phase 1, all the invoices first received to the corner 3, which is Taxilla, and then Taxilla will deliver to the ERP automatically, and you don't need to enter the informations manually in ERP. It will be the part of the automation of AP. So these are the AR and AP side. Second part, which is more important to business process change. See, typically today your Sage ERP is configured based on your business process, customer requirement, but now you have to configure based on a e-invoicing part because both AR and AP is involved. So how to pass the credit note timely, how to book the AP invoice so that there will be a less reconciliation at FTA level. So all that things are a part of the IT gap assessment, which will be the team of Abacus is going to do when they configure the things. So to just to conclude here, when we talk about the UAE e-invoicing, don't consider this as only a digitalizations of the e-invoicing, how other countries like a Saudi and uh, India is doing, but this is more towards the automation. There are many things as a internally before selecting the ASP you have to do, and this is more important because there is a still time is there with you so that you can internally discuss, you can configure, you do the changes. When you go live, it will be a very smooth rollout for you. So thank you very much. Over to you, Samir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pravin. All right. I see there are a lot of questions. Um, I request all participants, if you have any questions regarding e-invoicing, please feel free to, put it through in the chat. We will have a short poll right now. And I would request Mr. Manas to start with his session as well. Over to you, Mr. Manas.
So thanks, thank you, thanks for taking the taking all the pain. But good morning to all of you, and my prayers are with you and your family. Uh, yeah. First is and of course, Praveen. It was, as always. It was an amazing presentation, and I think, with your experience having done this in multiple countries across the world, it was that actually the way that you speak, it really shows up. And Praveen is, of course, he's been involved in the UAE invoicing for right from the beginning. Yeah. Just one point is that if you have any questions, you should put it on the chat, as Samir has said. So just ensure that you put the questions, and we will take the question and answers at the end of this presentation. And there are dedicated time lines for that. And then we will see how we respond to all of them, probably. Okay. Okay. Now, as Praveen was saying that the ASP registration deadline is for phase 1 is approaching on the 30th October. But again, the point here is the pilot program is already on, and we have customers who are already experiencing the pilot program. So therefore, my objective here is to share with you how exactly you can, or we can, navigate this change. Yeah. So what is the challenge? Yeah. So what is the challenge in front of us? I mean, yes, there is a challenge, but as I always say, this challenge is also an opportunity. Yeah. There are two ways that, so some stats to share with you. One is that e-invoicing actually cuts the processing time, or reduces the processing time by 66%. Yeah, this is quite a established statistics. Number one. Number two, it enhances the cash flow through optimized invoicing cycles. And number three, there are a number of other benefits. Like, these are some that I'm quoting from the FTA website, that the VAT refunds are quicker, the VAT reporting gets agile, and a number of other benefits which actually emanate from this entire kind of exercise, which has been established in other countries. Now, if I put myself in the shoes of my customers, there are two ways there are two sides to this transition. Okay, one is, how do we go through this compliance? How do we go through this compliance transition seamlessly? And number two is that once the transition is done, how do we translate this into an opportunity? How do we translate this into an opportunity in terms of improving efficiencies, especially on the AP invoice side, AP invoice processing and collection side? There is a lot of opportunity to improve efficiencies and, of course, the getting insights. Yeah. Now here I want to kind of deal with what is the path that we have taken. Yeah. I'll just put on the pointer. So on the top, this is the kind of transition, the software transition that we have all seen, right? I mean, you go from a requirement study to the design of the solution, to the development, to the testing, and then deployment and go live. Yeah. Now, the bottom portion is actually the technology part of it. So the technology part of it is actually to establish integrations through the APIs, JSON, XML. So the technology part of it, what we have done in Abacus is, the technology part of it has been, we have been able to take it out and put it into our add-on. And I'll talk about that Abacus e-invoicing add-on in the next slide. But essentially what we have done is that we have done these integrations between ERPs and Taxilla and FTA on the other side. Yeah. Now, while I am here on this slide, you will remember that the whole objective is that there are enough challenges on the business side. Some of it was Praveen was talking about. For example, in the customer, the address he mentioned that has to be proper in the proper fields. Okay, so that needs to be taken care of. In the item master, you can have your customer item codes. Yeah, but essentially there is a lot of time that we need to spend in order to ensure that the business side or the software side is where we spend most of our time rather than on the technology side. So you will also know that I think Praveen showed it that there are about 15 master data files, and every invoice requires at least 50 mandatory fields to be sent so that the invoice gets validated. So all that we are going to demo subsequently, but this is the challenge, and therefore what we have done is the software side and the technology side is what we have separated. Now, this is the seller's side of the Abacus UAE E-Invoicing solution. What we have done is that the Abacus UAE E-Invoicing solution is available and readily connected to these ERPs already. It is connected to Sage X3, FNO, Business Central, and Sage 300 on one side. So therefore, and on the other side, through the Taxilla ASP, it is also connected to the FTA. So what that means is that when you do sales invoices or sales credit notes on your ERP, it will push that transaction through our add-on to the FTA and send it through the 5-corner model to your customer seamlessly. Now, therefore, what our value proposition is that it is a model which is repeatable and tested. This e-invoicing, the integration, the validation of fields, etc., is all tested, and because it is a repeatable model, so therefore our value proposition is that you should not begin from scratch. You should spend more time on the software to take care of your business, and therefore it reduces the implementation effort and the project risks, and therefore the deployment time. I just wanted to put one more sentence here that in addition to these ERPs, whatever that you might be using, we also have Zoho Books, which is already a ASP. Therefore, Zoho Books is also compliant with the FTA guidelines. On the buyer side, the arrows have changed, because what we have done is that we are pulling the AP invoices. This can be done in 2 steps. We will get the AP invoices from our ASP and put it into the ERP system, so that the AP invoices, electronic AP invoices, are available within your ERP, and then we can automate it by way of matching it with the purchase order and goods receipt, or we can do a partial automation. This is possible to be done. Yeah. So this is the add-on that is what we are is our value proposition. Okay, now just a kind of few sentences that what does it, how are we different? Instead of a fresh build where we have API documentations to be created, we have to deal with the entire technology side of it, connecting the developer, connecting the connectors between softwares. We have an established connection approach. So the Abacus e-invoicing solution is already developed tested and ready to be deployed. So what are the services that we are providing? We are actually giving the services in three parts. The first one is the readiness assessment and business transformation. So in this, if you are availing of this service, what we will do is we will identify the gaps in the transactions. We will identify the master data, and we will also give you the remediation action with time and dollar values. This assessment can be done this requires a VAT consultant. We can do this by way of communicating with your VAT consultant, or we can also have our VAT consultant who is a partner, and we can deliver this services to you. The second one, as I have said, it is the Abacus UAE E-Invoicing solution. So we can deploy this solution, which will establish the connections immediately. But remember that even if we have deployed this solution, we will also have to do an implementation and deployment, which is a consulting service which we are delivering. So the whole objective of doing this in three parts, and the whole objective of developing the e-invoicing solution is to serve you, make your time useful, your time, because we understand that your time is valuable. Therefore, we have invested in this solution so that we can spend less time in deployment. So I've come to the end of this, and I think all of you must be eager to see the solution demonstration. So I will get Ronak. Request Ronak to do that, but just 2-3 more points before Ronak gets in. Okay, one is that you will see this. Okay, that we don't need another software. When we talk about, let us focus on, as I said, let us focus on two parts. One is the compliance part, and the other is the increasing efficiency part. Yeah, on the AP side. Yeah. So on the compliance part, okay, we don't need another software. What we simply need is, I'll come to the next slide to tell you what exactly that I mean by this. And you need a solution which is simple, which will give you the compliance, which will do the compliance for you. So, for example, when you have a sales invoice, when your users are on the sales invoice screen, the ERP, whatever ERP that you are using, the ERP should ensure that all the 50 odd fields which are mandatorily required by the FTA is populated here, whether from the customer master or the item master. And when the user is pressing the post button, it will post to the ERP only after ensuring that the invoice is validated through Taxilla and FTA. It will allow the user to post. And if it does not post, then it should tell us that what is the reason or what is the field which did not match, therefore it did not post. The whole objective is that the person who is currently doing the sales invoice or the sales credit note, the life of that user does not change. He does exactly the same transaction, but the validation is taken care of by the software, by the softwares, whatever it may be. Yeah, so that is how we need to make the solution simple. And lastly, this is there are two steps in which we can do this efficiency leg. One is we will get the AP invoices into your ERP so that it can be posted. And in the second, we will do that matching of the AP invoice with the purchase order and goods receipt. Yeah, and then there are, and this is something that we have already done with our customers, and there are a lot of efficiencies that we can talk about there. Yeah. So that's it from my side. Thank you. Over to you, Samir.
Thank you, Manas. Um, so this is the point where it's the most anticipated part of the entire webinar, which is the demonstration. So before I hand it over to Ronak, I
Start
would like
sharing.
you to kindly participate in the next poll so that Ronak gets ready in the meantime.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think that was a lot of details that we gave to the users. So, very good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. My name is Ronak Shetty, and I'm the principal consultant at Abacus IT Solution. I have spent last several years across the UAE GCC region and Middle Eastern and Asia Pacific region, implementing the ERPs, tax compliance, finance automation projects. A large part of my work over the past year has specifically been around helping the organizations and businesses get ready for the UAE e-invoicing framework. And for today's session, that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through across. Now, for the session overview, here is exactly what we are going to cover up with. One, and the major important one, is the master data, which Manas was specifically mentioning about. Second, how the transactions of the invoicing will be done in the system. And at the end, I wanted to speak a little bit about how the FTA portal, the Taxilla will come into picture, and all this will sync together and will give you a complete package. With that being said, for today's demonstration, we have selected Sage X3 as the ERP to demonstrate the e-invoicing solution. For those who may not be familiar with Sage X3, Sage X3 is a flagship product from Sage, which is headquartered in UK and listed in Nasdaq. It is a mid to large size enterprise ERP which has a deep functionality across finance, distribution, manufacturing, and for much larger tier 1 systems. Now, what makes Sage X3 particularly relevant for these e-invoicing demonstration is its flexibility of the configuration layer. Everything that you need for regulatory changes like e-invoicing, new fields, new validation, new document flows can be largely handled through such an ERP. Now, with that being said, let me start with my demonstration. Now, this is the screen for my login of ERP. I'll log in with my user ID and password and say sign in. Once I switched in, logged in into my ERP, there are dedicated landing dashboards based on the role the user has been assigned to. I'm an admin user, so I'm able to see all the details here as of now. Just to give a little bit hint of where exactly I wanted to show all the other details, I'll just showcase the depth of the software that we are presenting the demo over. So if I go to the modules, you can see it's for the mid and large size enterprises where it is covering all the modules which are required for the business to run from end to end. Now, with that being said, the first major component and the building block of any e-invoicing solution for the UAE e-invoicing solution is the master data. So when I click on this master data, as the Abacus e-invoicing solution, we have these pre-created and pre-configured master data as per the requirement of the UAE e-invoicing, as per the requirement of the FTA. Some major important master data that I would like to take you across through is one, the invoice type, where it is mandatory to define if the invoice is a commercial invoice, is it a credit note, a debit note, is it a tax invoice, that is mandatorily has to be specifically mentioned when we are creating the invoice in the ERP system. And the same gets updated in the FTA portal. Another mandatory field from the master data point of view is the invoice transaction type, where we want to specifically tag or label the invoice what the transaction type is. Is it a standard tax invoice? Is it an export? Or is it a normal summary invoice? And there are many other important master data tables which are required as per the UAE invoicing FTA law, which will be pre-configured into the solution for you. And as Manus, exactly the way that you mentioned, that the configuration is a phase where we will be configuring all this required master data with the ERP so it can move smoothly. Second important master data which is required to be set up in the ERP is the customer VAT related details. So for the customer, if I go to my customer master and show in the UAE invoicing section, my TIN number, my VAT numbers, all these details are mandatory and we have entered it. So this exactly is the phase at the time of configuration. We will be handling all this data and it is mandatory for the user and the customer to enter it to start with the e-invoicing process. Now, with that being said, I wanted to show two examples to you for this demonstration. One is for the sales invoice, where all the details are available in the customers, all the VAT related TIN numbers is available in the customer, and I'm able to post and what exactly it works. And the second scenario is where the customer does not have a TIN number and how the system flags this and helps me to identify and rectify it as well. Yeah. Now, when I go to my sales invoice, I'll start off with my first invoice where if you are able to see my transaction type, I was mentioning just a little bit before that the transaction type is the master data where I will be selecting which type of transaction I am creating for this invoice. It's a standard tax invoice. And what is the type of this invoice? If I say it is a normal tax invoice for me. So these two are mandatory fields which I have to select at the time when I'm creating a sales invoice. Yeah. Now, when I create the sales invoice, when I select the transaction type and invoice type, this is the customer which I have selected, which has all the details of VAT TIN mentioned in the customer master. Once I click on post, you will be able to see that the e-invoicing, the document has been successfully posted and the e-invoicing has been successfully completed as well. So as Manas, you were mentioning that for the users, nothing changes. It is the same process that they are doing and they will be able to see these details once the invoice is successfully posted. Now, for the second scenario, I have created a separate invoice where I have selected a customer which does not have a tax identification number which is entered or created in the customer master. Now for this invoice,
Just go down and show the invoice. What are the fields? Yeah.
yeah, so other details like the tax related details for the customers, the delivery address, if it's registered, non-registered, and all the other details of
Items are here.
what the type of service that I am selling it to him is mentioned. Okay, now if I try to post this invoice, yeah, system gave me an error. Let me check what are the number of errors. It says that the TIN number is missing in the customer master. So this is how the system will flag and give you the details of what details are missing in this invoice. Now, all I have to do is go back, go into my customer master. My customer was 002 4 point. I'll go down and I'll check there is a missing TIN number. What I'll do is with my VAT number, I'll just enter my TIN number here and see save. Yeah, that's it. It has got updated now. I'll go back to the invoice. Perfect. Now let me try to repost it again. And that's it. Once I rectify the error or once I enter the details of the TIN number in the master data, system will automatically pick the details and it has successfully posted. And it has also done the e-invoicing successfully. Now, with that being said, I know we are very curious to see how exactly the backend thing works. Where, as a user, I'm fine, it is already posted for me, but I'm a little bit more curious on how exactly it is going and hitting the FTA portal, where exactly it is going in Taxilla. So, to give you a glimpse of it, we have a Abacus e-invoicing solution portal or a dashboard which is readily available to you as a customer. I'll just quickly go there. This is the Abacus e-invoicing solution connector where we have a dedicated dashboard for the customer where you will be able to view how many documents you submitted this month, what are the invoices that you have booked in this month, credit notes, the other details, and you can have a list and view of it. There is a submission volume for the last 14 days. You can play along, you can see how many documents you have posted, and all the other details. On the right hand side, if you can see for the subscription, we have the number of invoices that are inbound and outbound. That for the consumption details, we will be able to have those details across in here. So this is for the customer dashboard, where within this dashboard, you will be able to get all the relevant details of the invoice. How the invoice looks like, I'll just show you. If I go to the documents and I check the delivered status, you can see here for the second, sorry. Yeah, these two are the invoices which I have just posted from the system, and these two invoices are received and they have been sent to Taxilla. Okay, now I believe this takes a couple of seconds to move ahead, and I'll show you one which is successfully delivered. Where if I go in the invoice and scroll, you can see this is my invoice number, the name of what this is my customer ID, then the customer who I'm selling it to, the invoice details, the tenant name is my ID, my name of the company, the details of or the total value of the invoice, what are the VAT details, the total value along with the VAT. Now, if I scroll a little bit down, you can see on the timeline, you will be able to see exactly when the document was received in the connector, it got passed and validated, it submitted to the Taxilla, Taxilla then checked it and it submitted ahead. And from there, from the FTA portal, once it gets the confirmation it is successfully submitted, it will send the details back to me as delivered.
Delivered to the corner.
Delivered to the corner.
To the corner 2
Yeah,
and corner 3.
exactly. So if you can see
Okay,
here,
and FTA also.
exactly. So if you see here at the bottom, it says from the invoice to the receiver of the AP,
The
it
corner
has
2, yeah,
successfully
it's the
reached.
corner 2, corner 3, and corner 5.
Qualified.
Correct.
Exactly, it has delivered successfully to the AP.
Okay.
Yeah. Now this was for the AR side when I'm sending the details to my customer. For the other section, for the second part of it, for the AP section, we have the dashboard where we have created for the AP side. We will be receiving the details from the vendors when they will be issuing the invoices, and those invoices will be sitting here in a form of a draft where the accountant can go ahead or the user can go ahead and validate it against the purchase orders. Again, we will be directly having a three-way matching method where it will be validated against the purchase orders and it will be receiving directly in the ERP. Yeah. So that was all about today's session, today's demo. We covered up three major sections. One is the building block, the master data. Second is the actual demonstration. And third and the most important, the dashboard along with the flow of how the invoices moves and how it returns back to the ERP. And exactly the way Manas, as you said, when I was maneuvering over in the system, you might be able to view that as a user, there is nothing different that I am doing. And my life is exactly the same. The process, the view, no additional efforts are required to be done.
Excellent.
So,
So get back the slides and the contacts. You have the slides and contacts there. Get it back, and then we will take a few questions. Praveen is there.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Ranak, Manas, and Pravin. I think this is the part where we address all the questions. There are some burning questions that I can see in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll read it out and then
Yeah.
you guys can take over. So Mr. Ehsan has written, what is the last date for implementation of e-invoicing in Dubai? And is it also applicable in Jafza? So he's asking, is it specific for UAE or is it specific for zones or
Free zones, yeah. So if it is applicable for Jabza or not?
Correct.
Yes, it is. It is applicable for the entire UAE. Praveen, if you have anything more to add, please. Answer some of these questions and send out the PPTs and along with the responses. Okay. Yeah. Just a few concluding points. So where is your slide on the contacts? Details. Yeah. So these are our contact details. So please feel free to reach out to this mobile number, which is with Samir, and this email address, which will be managed by us. Please communicate with us in this in these contacts. Number one. Number two is that we will send an email which will have the slides along with the question and answers. And in that email, we will also have a contact us. So in case you want to contact us for the next steps, we will be happy to engage. Yeah. Now, when I leave this with you, I just wanted to tell you that we have, and that is what Praveen was also saying, is that we have the pilot program has already started from 1st of July. We already have customers who are going through the pilot program. By going through the pilot program, you will have more certainty in terms of the entire deployment and the transition. Yeah. So especially if you want to join the pilot program for any of those ERPs that we mentioned, then please get in touch with our marketing team, and we will be very happy to help. Okay, we will be happy to take it forward. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, all the participants, for joining our webinar today. We have taken a note of all of the questions and we will answer all of these questions and get in touch with you so that you have all the answers that you are looking for. And yes, as Manas has mentioned, we will have email that will actually address the questions. We will have the recording of this entire webinar, as well as we will have a form, a feedback form where you can share your feedback regarding the webinar as well. All the slides and everything, we will ensure that we have communicated it.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for joining. We'll be in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Bye-bye.